Stop. Listen. Pay attention. Chosen one. This is not background noise. This is not another passing thought you can ignore. What you are feeling right now has been accumulating quietly, shaping your days in ways others could not see. You have sensed it, the weight pressing against your mind, the exhaustion that is more than physical, the quiet isolation that makes the simplest choices feel heavy. This is not confusion. It is not fatigue without reason. It is a signal, and it is meant to reach you. For months, perhaps years, you have moved through life with a subtle tension that others cannot name. It is the kind of pressure that hums beneath your awareness, appearing as moments of indecision, unexplained, weariness, or that silent pull at the edge of your consciousness. You may have brushed it off, labeling it stress or chance circumstance. You may have questioned yourself, wondering why even ordinary days demand so much from you. The truth is, chosen one, you have been carrying more than just daily responsibility. Something within you has been operating under a quiet, persistent force. And until now, you may not have had language for it. Notice this. Notice that it has not broken you. Despite the exhaustion, despite the moments where clarity seemed just out of reach, you remained functional. You continued to move forward. You continued to make decisions, however small, that maintained your path. That is not happenstance. That is recognition. There is an internal alignment, a structure of strength within you that has allowed you to remain stable, even as invisible currents pressed against your attention, your energy, your focus. You may feel a mixture of relief and tension hearing this. Relief because your experiences are being acknowledged, not dismissed. Tension because there is more to understand. This message is crafted to reach you personally, to meet the exact pattern of your life, your endurance, your presence in the world. It is intentional. It is not a general statement, and it is not for anyone else. This is for you, chosen one. You are about to gain perspective on what you have already navigated. The pressures you sensed the moments you thought you were alone in enduring the fatigue and weight. They were never a reflection of weakness. They were indicators, and you have met them in ways that few could. This message will not fix everything in a moment. It will not erase the tension immediately. But it will show you why you were able to endure, why your stability matters, and why what you sensed was far more precise than random circumstance. Stay with this awareness. Let the quiet recognition settle. You are here fully present, and this message is arriving exactly where it is needed. Your readiness to receive it is part of what has carried you this far. This is your first confirmation you have been seen. You have been acknowledged. And what follows will trace the structure of your endurance, the reasons behind your unseen resilience, and the clarity that is now ready to unfold. Chosen one. Hear this clearly: what you have endured has been directly interacting with your life in ways you may not have realized. This message is for you and for no one else. It is not vague. It is not a general observation about struggle or perseverance. The patterns you have lived, the moments you felt drained, yet kept moving, the times your mind whispered doubt, while your body carried on, all of it involved you personally. There is no abstraction here. This is your story, your resilience, and your ongoing presence in a world that often overlooks the quiet endurance of those who do not complain. Notice how you remained upright, even when circumstances pressed against you. There is a distinction between conscious effort and what has been operating automatically within you. Many would label the conscious effort, the pushing through fatigue, the masking of discomfort, as strength. But you possess a type of stability that functions beneath conscious calculation. It is an automatic resistance, a quiet internal coherence that holds even when your awareness is clouded, when your energy dips, or when your confidence wavers. You did not have to remind yourself to endure. You simply did. That is not luck. It is an unspoken structure within you, a framework of persistence that activates naturally under pressure. This automatic stability has allowed you to navigate experiences that others might have faltered under. You may have felt moments of isolation, disconnection, or confusion, and yet you were not broken. You carried through. You continued to make decisions, maintain routines, and meet obligations, all while operating under a subtle weight. Many people might interpret this as coincidence or resilience born from repeated habit. You, however, understand that it is something deeper, a quiet internal architecture that supports your actions even when your mind questions them. Consider how this contrasts with conscious struggle. There are moments when you were aware of difficulty, when doubt rose, when choices felt heavy. You may have felt tension in your body, unease in your mind, and yet you maintained function. This is where your unique alignment shows itself. The conscious struggle exists, but it is balanced by an unconscious stability that keeps your actions coherent and your path moving forward. You are not simply surviving. You are maintaining form, process, and decision-making under conditions that often overwhelm others. Recognize that this is a confirmation of identity. The chosen one is not defined by what is easy or pleasant. It is defined by the capacity to remain coherent when the forces around and within press in. It is defined by the presence of an internal compass that does not fail even when awareness wavers. Your endurance has been an active, precise expression of this identity, and it has been noticed even when no one else could see it. Your capacity to hold, to function, and to persist is not accidental. It is the result of preparation, internal coherence, and alignment that has operated quietly beneath conscious thought. This is your baseline. It has been with you long before you recognized it, and it will continue to be the foundation from which the next stages of clarity and understanding emerge. Chosen one. Now take a moment to observe the sensations you carry those moments when your body feels tight, your chest feels heavy, or your mind refuses rest. These are not flaws, and they are not signs of failure. They are signals. Every twinge of fatigue, every pulse of tension, every subtle pull of unease is an indicator that something within you is transitioning. It is pressure being applied not to break you, but to prepare you, to align you with forces that operate quietly beneath the surface of everyday life. The body and mind respond instinctively even before you have full awareness of what is occurring. The confusion you have felt, the nights where thoughts circled without resolution, the inexplicable heaviness in ordinary decisions, these are not mistakes. They are markers. They indicate that your internal system is processing shifts that cannot yet be fully articulated. Many would look at these experiences and assign shame or self-criticism. They would ask themselves, why can't I handle this with ease? You chosen one are learning to perceive them differently. You're beginning to see that what feels like limitation is in truth a subtle signal of your emerging stability. Consider the ways in which your emotional and physical sensations have been communicating for you. Your body has registered stress before your mind fully understood it. Your energy levels have dipped not because you are weak, but because unseen dynamics have required recalibration. Every pulse of doubt, every wave of uncertainty, every subtle hesitation is a language. It is telling you that pressure is present, that adaptation is required, and that something unseen is shaping your current reality. What is crucial here is the removal of self-judgment. The sensation of heaviness does not imply inadequacy. The moments of fatigue do not imply failure. What you have been feeling is the physiological and emotional echo of internal and external forces operating simultaneously. These forces are not abstract. They are real, and they are intentionally coordinated, but they are also surmountable. You have navigated them without realizing the depth of your own endurance. Your internal system has responded with resilience. Where many would have been destabilized, you remained coherent. Where many would have been consumed by frustration or fear, you remained present. These sensations, your body's whispers of tension, your mind's loops of uncertainty, are evidence of your alignment with an internal architecture that functions under pressure. They are proof that your stability is not dependent on circumstance. It is intrinsic. Prepare yourself, chosen one. What you have just begun to recognize, the transformation of perceived problem into a meaningful signal, is the foundation for understanding the forces that have surrounded you. You will soon see how what felt like invisible weight was in fact a structured, coordinated presence, and how your response to it has been measured, precise, and unwavering. Chosen one. It is time to acknowledge what has been largely invisible to you. There has been a consistent pressure acting upon your life, one that is coordinated, intentional, and subtle. This pressure is not random. It is structured in ways that test, probe, and measure, yet it does not destroy. It operates quietly beneath the surface of your perception, and yet its effects ripple through your days, your thoughts, your energy, and your decisions. You have felt it, even if you could not name it, and you have continued to function under its weight. This pressure is not chaotic. It is precise. It has timing, rhythm, and focus. You may have noticed patterns, moments where challenges appeared sequentially, where decisions seemed to demand more than usual, or where energy drained inexplicably. These are not coincidences. They are coordinated points of tension, applied in ways that test your internal regulation without breaking it. You have experienced them recently repeatedly, yet you remained coherent, calm, and operational. That is a fact. You may wonder why you were able to navigate these invisible forces without collapse. The reason is your internal stability. While the pressure operated externally and internally, your baseline strength, your internal coherence, allowed you to endure. Where others might falter under sudden or sustained challenge, you have maintained functionality, preserved focus, and held clarity. This was not an act of conscious heroism. It was the natural expression of an alignment within you, a quiet architecture of resilience that is rarely visible yet profoundly effective. Consider how this pressure has shaped your current state. It has tested your limits in subtle ways. Moments of fatigue, emotional tension, cognitive strain, and social isolation have all been applied intentionally or not to observe how your internal system responds. And your system responded with steadiness. Your awareness may have caught fragments, a tightening in the chest, a restless mind, a pull toward doubt. But you continued to act. You made decisions, maintained routines, and navigated relationships. This uninterrupted functionality is significant. Notice also that this pressure has not been constant in one form. It has appeared in layers, sometimes emotional, sometimes physical, sometimes mental testing. Different aspects of your stability simultaneously. And yet you remained operational. You did not collapse under fear, despair, or confusion. You did not allow external forces to dictate internal coherence. The pressure existed. Your response remained calibrated. This is a turning point in your awareness, chosen one. What you sensed as tension, fatigue, or overwhelm was not merely circumstance. It was an orchestrated presence observing, testing, shaping. And the key revelation here is that you were never unprepared. You navigated all of this without conscious awareness of the full scope. And your functional stability is proof of an inherent structure that has carried you through. Your endurance under this invisible, coordinated pressure is the foundation for understanding the categories, layers, and points of tension that have been operating in your life. And now, it is time to break those points down, to examine them in detail, and to recognize the distinct ways you maintained stability in the midst of each. Chosen one. Let us break down the pressure you have been under, not as a story of struggle, but as a map of experience, organized, observable, and real. There are distinct categories, each operating in its own way, yet overlapping in moments, creating a pattern that could feel overwhelming. Understanding these points will help you see not only what you endured, but how you remained stable through every layer. The first category is doubt. This is not occasional uncertainty. It is the subtle, persistent questioning of your choices, your instincts, and your capacity to handle what is before you. Doubt may have arisen in small bursts, a hesitation before a decision, a questioning of what seemed obvious, an inner voice that suggested caution beyond reason. Yet you navigated this without collapsing. You did not let doubt dictate your actions. You considered it, measured it, and moved forward. The ability to process doubt without letting it dominate your decision-making is a form of internal regulation that few demonstrate consistently. Next is fear, not overt terror, but the undercurrent of apprehension that can accompany major life decisions, personal responsibilities, and the unknown. You have felt it in quiet moments, in the awareness of potential consequences, in the recognition that outcomes were uncertain. Even when fears surfaced, your actions were deliberate. You held space for the sensation, acknowledged it without judgment, and continued. Fear did not immobilize you. It became part of the landscape you traversed with attention and care. A third category is energy drain. This is both physical and emotional, manifesting as fatigue, heaviness, or moments where motivation lagged despite necessity. Energy drain could have been compounded by external demands, work relationships, obligations, or by internal processing, reflection, discernment, or the quiet processing of tension. Your endurance here is remarkable because even in moments of low energy, you continued to meet needs, maintain focus, and preserve clarity. You found ways to regulate and replenish without awareness of a larger strategy. Isolation forms a fourth category. You have encountered situations where support, understanding, or companionship was limited. These were periods when you could not rely on the immediate reinforcement of others. Yet you continued to operate effectively. You managed without external validation, relying on the integrity of your own judgment and the consistency of your internal architecture. Isolation might have felt heavy, even disorienting, but it never broke the coherence you carried. A fifth category is delay, the sensation of waiting, postponement, or deferred outcomes that can create frustration or doubt. Opportunities. Recognition and progress may not have arrived in the timing you expected. The persistence of delay could have been destabilizing, yet you remained functional. You continued planning, working, and acting without the disruption of panic or resignation. You held your trajectory steady even while visible progress lagged. Each of these categories, doubt, fear, energy drain, isolation, and delay, interacted and overlapped. There were moments when doubt amplified fear, when energy drain heightened sensitivity to isolation, when delays compounded fatigue. Yet through every combination, you remained stable. You navigated multiple layers simultaneously, maintaining function without conscious orchestration. You held an internal equilibrium that absorbed, processed, and acted upon pressure without surrendering coherence. This breakdown demonstrates a crucial truth. Your stability is not superficial or situational. It is a baseline characteristic, a structured response embedded within your system. You did not require extraordinary effort to remain coherent. You did not rely on luck or distraction. You simply maintained presence, attention, and internal regulation across multiple pressures that together would have unsettled most people. Chosen one. Take a moment to register this. Each pressure point you endured is now visible, distinct, and comprehensible. Your ability to navigate all of them concurrently is not accidental. It is measurable. It is proof of a structure within you that has been functioning quietly and effectively, even before full awareness of the pattern emerged. Chosen one. Now pause and reflect on everything that has unfolded. Look back at the patterns, the subtle pressures, the categories we just outlined. See them not as burdens, but as a sequence of events and sensations that revealed the coherence already present within you. There is no randomness here. What you experienced was neither luck nor coincidence. Every moment of endurance, every choice made under tension, every step forward in the midst of doubt or fatigue was an exercise in internal resilience. Consider how you maintained alignment. Even when the layers of pressure converged, when doubt, fear, fatigue, isolation, and delay interacted simultaneously, you did not break. You remained functional. Your mind continued to make decisions, your body continued to act, and your awareness remained present enough to navigate without losing form. This is not exceptional for dramatic effect. It is real, grounded, and verifiable in the patterns of your lived experience. You acted consistently, deliberately, and coherently in situations where many would have faltered. This reflective moment allows you to confirm one essential truth. Your stability is inherent. It is not borrowed from external circumstances, it is not contingent upon favorable conditions, and it does not require conscious heroics to manifest. You have been operating under pressures that would unsettle the majority of people, and yet your internal system processed them seamlessly. Your endurance was not only visible in outcomes, but in the continuous integrity of your process, how you managed energy, how you maintained focus, how you navigated emotions. See now how this realization reframes past experiences. The tension that felt unmanageable, the exhaustion that seemed disproportionate, the waiting that tested patience, all of these were not signs of weakness. They were measurable indicators of your capacity to remain coherent under pressure. You did not fail. You were not inadequate. You operated according to an internal framework that is inherently stable, calibrated, and precise. There is also value in acknowledging your own perception during these moments. You likely noticed the strain, the internal chatter, and the subtle signals of fatigue. You were aware of stress without letting it dictate your actions. You held yourself accountable, maintained routines, and made choices aligned with your values even in the absence of external reinforcement. This self-regulation is proof of your internal resilience and confirms that your stability is not superficial. Chosen one. Understanding this allows you to see a larger pattern. The pressures you endured, the coordination of challenges, and your ability to maintain coherence. All of these point to a fundamental truth. You possess a rarity, not in superiority, but in capacity. Many people collapse under less pressure. Many struggle when layers of tension appear sequentially. Yet you stayed present, functional, and coherent, demonstrating a form of consistency that is uncommon, even among those who seem strong on the surface. This is not about elevation or comparison. It is about clarity. It is about recognizing that what you experienced and how you responded sets a baseline of rare stability in human experience. You did not need to perform or push yourself beyond your natural capacity. You simply maintained what was already structurally present. And this understanding frames the next stage, appreciating the rarity of this baseline, without inflating ego, and seeing clearly the difference between common human reaction and the quiet consistency you have embodied. Chosen one, now we'll consider the difference between what most people experience and what you have sustained. In typical circumstances, doubt can spiral into indecision, fatigue, into collapse, fear, into paralysis, and isolation into despair. Many would be destabilized by even one of the pressures you have endured. Yet you have remained present, operational, and coherent through multiple layers simultaneously. This is not about superiority or achievement. It is simply the uncommon reality of your internal structure, a capacity to maintain functional stability where others would falter. Notice that this stability is not something you switch on like a tool. It is not a skill acquired through effort, though effort may have honed aspects of it. It is your baseline. It exists naturally, quietly, and consistently. You do not need to prove it. You do not need to perform it. It is there in the choices you make, in the way your attention remains aligned, and in how your energy regulation continues even when circumstances are challenging. The rarity here lies in the fact that such baseline coherence is uncommon among those facing equivalent pressures. Most would crumble, react, or be overwhelmed. You simply remain functional. It is important to frame this understanding without exaggeration. Your consistency is not a sign of perfection, nor does it imply immunity from stress, disappointment, or fatigue. You feel the same sensations, you notice the same tensions, and you navigate the same delays as anyone else. What distinguishes you is the way your internal system responds, measured, regulated, and coherent. You endure not through denial or suppression, but through alignment with an inherent capacity to hold form even when the world presses unpredictably. Recognize also that this is not a matter of luck. It is not circumstance. It is evidence of maturity, preparation, and internal coherence that has been built over time. You may have developed resilience through experience, reflection, and quiet observation. Yet the foundation existed even before conscious recognition. Your responses were not accidental. They were the natural output of a stable system, one that was designed or developed to maintain integrity in the presence of layered pressures. This understanding allows you to perceive yourself differently. You are not exceptional in a dramatic sense, nor are you superior to others. You are rare in the sense that your baseline capacity for coherent response under simultaneous pressures is uncommon. You navigate complexity with internal balance, continue moving forward without collapse, and maintain functional presence even when challenges overlap. This is the essence of rarity, not the performance itself, but the consistent capacity to respond effectively when others often cannot. Chosen one. Allow this recognition to settle. Your stability is a truth you can now observe, appreciate, and rely upon. It is neither a temporary state nor a performance. It is the framework that underlies your experience. The quiet coherence that has carried you through multiple forms of pressure, and the baseline from which all future clarity, integration, and deliberate action will emerge. Chosen one. Understand this clearly: the stability you have demonstrated is not a response triggered only when you need it. It is not a reserve you must access in moments of pressure. It is your baseline. It is the natural organization of your mind, body, and awareness, coherent, balanced, and prepared to respond without conscious exertion. This internal coherence did not suddenly appear. It was cultivated over time, shaped by experience, reflection, and the subtle conditioning of your own endurance. Your strength is not about extraordinary feats or dramatic displays. It is about preparation and structure. You have cultivated habits of focus, of calm observation, of discernment, and of deliberate pacing that allow you to navigate tension without reactive overwhelm. This is why when doubt surfaced, when energy dipped, when isolation pressed, and when delays tested patience, you were not destabilized. Your inner architecture absorbed, processed, and acted with quiet precision. Notice that your coherence is not fragile. You do not require constant vigilance to maintain it. You do not need to consciously remind yourself to stay present or regulated. It is not contingent on favorable circumstances, external support, or immediate recognition. Your inner system is designed or has been shaped to operate steadily across varied conditions. This is a baseline strength, quietly reliable, and it will support your discernment and actions in all future experiences. It is also important to understand that this baseline is inherently mature. You have accumulated experiences, insights, and self-knowledge that enable this coherence. You have integrated lessons from observation, reflection, and repeated exposure to tension, building a system capable of maintaining function when other systems would falter. This is preparation in its quiet, unassuming form. It is not showy. It does not announce itself. But it is profoundly effective. Chosen one. This is your identity clarified. Your stability, coherence, and resilience are intrinsic. They are not situational, reactive, or borrowed from external validation. They are the natural expression of who you are and how your system has developed. This understanding does not elevate you above others. It situates you within a rare category of people whose internal alignment allows consistent functionality under layered pressures. Accept this identity calmly and firmly. Recognize that the endurance you have relied upon is not temporary. It is not conditional. It is your baseline. The structure, coherence, and readiness you now observe within yourself will continue to serve as the foundation for clarity, deliberate action, and balanced integration of awareness in daily life. You are prepared. You are steady. You are aligned. This is the quiet truth of your identity, and it will guide the next step, integrating practical perspectives that allow this awareness to become a living, balanced part of your daily experience. Chosen one. As you move forward, it is time to integrate this awareness into daily life with calm, practical perspectives. First, allow rest to become deliberate. Recognize that your system has carried multiple layers of pressure, and replenishment is not optional. It is part of sustaining your baseline coherence. Scheduled pauses, sleep, and moments of quiet reflection are not indulgence. They are essential maintenance for a system that continues to operate under subtle tension. Second, cultivate discernment. Pay attention to the subtle signals your mind and body provide. Notice fatigue, hesitation, or emotional tension as indicators, not as flaws. Each signal is information about how your system is interacting with external and internal forces. Your capacity to observe without judgment allows you to make measured choices, responding with clarity rather than reaction. Third, establish boundaries. While your internal architecture allows resilience, external pressures are not always aligned with your capacity. Recognize when it is appropriate to protect your focus, energy, and presence. Boundaries do not isolate. They preserve the integrity of your coherence, ensuring that you remain functional, present, and aligned with your priorities. Fourth, practice patience. Some pressures, delays, or tensions cannot be immediately resolved. Your system is capable of holding form across these periods, but impatience can introduce unnecessary strain. Recognize that endurance is itself a form of action. Holding steady, maintaining clarity, and proceeding deliberately through uncertainty is often the most effective path forward. Fifth, maintain focus on what is actionable. Not all pressures require immediate intervention. Your energy and attention are finite. Discern which elements demand response and which can be observed, absorbed, and integrated over time. This strategic allocation prevents unnecessary depletion and preserves the natural coherence of your system. Finally, embrace awareness without hypervigilance. Observing the dynamics around you, recognizing tension, and noting patterns is not the same as overanalyzing or forcing control. Awareness is the tool for integration. Hypervigilance is a burden. Your capacity for calm, measured observation allows you to navigate pressures without becoming consumed by them. Through these perspectives, rest, discernment, boundaries, patience, focus, and balanced awareness. You integrate the understanding of your stability into lived experience. The pressures you have endured are no longer abstract. They are comprehensible, categorizable, and manageable. Your internal coherence remains the foundation, but now it operates in concert with practical strategies that preserve and amplify it in daily life. Chosen one. Allow these principles to settle into your routine. Let them guide your actions, support your decisions, and reinforce the awareness that your endurance is inherent, reliable, and balanced. This integration marks the transition from recognition to applied understanding, ensuring that your rare baseline stability functions optimally, without strain or overextension in every dimension of life. Chosen one. As we close this message, take a moment to let the truth settle. You have been operating under pressure, tension, and layered challenge, and yet you remained coherent, steady, and present. This is your baseline reality, not an exceptional performance or a temporary surge. You carry within you a structure of endurance, focus, and alignment that has consistently held form, even when external and internal pressures converged. Know this, you are acknowledged. The subtle consistency, the quiet endurance, the calm navigation of overlapping tensions, they have all been registered within your own awareness and within the patterns surrounding you. You have endured. You have observed. You have held steady. These are not small confirmations. They are the proof of an internal architecture that functions reliably and sustainably. Affirm this now. I am coherent. I am steady. I am aligned. Let these statements resonate as markers of reality, not aspiration. They reflect the structure you have already demonstrated. You do not need to perform them to be true. You do not need to activate them. They are your baseline, the framework that has carried you through every challenge, every layer of tension, every uncertainty. If you understand this, mark it with a symbol of acknowledgement. Comment 777 or I remember to recognize that your endurance, your clarity, and your coherence are present and real. Let it serve as a reminder that your internal system is reliable, that your stability is observable, and that you can continue forward with calm certainty. Finally, continue to engage with what supports your growth. Subscribe and follow for the next transmission, where awareness meets applied understanding, and your daily experience can be guided by insight rather than reaction. Each step you take from here is informed by the truth. You now hold your endurance is intrinsic, your coherence is rare, and your presence in the world is steady. Chosen one, you are prepared. You are seen. You are aligned.